Foundation, Global Network for Sustainable Development, Masterpiece Foundation, and Helping Hand International. Thank you everyone for joining us today. I would also like to thank our core team of YSD, Art, Amit, Sapna, Maria, Sini, Ketki, and Ashima for putting these sessions together. Connecting Dreams Foundation started the Youth for Sustainability dialogues to provide a platform to young people globally to present their thoughts, projects, and ideas on how to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals, as popularly called SDGs. At CDF, we believe that the youth are the torchbearers of a sustainable world. And through ISD, we are putting the youth in the driver's seat, allowing them to engage in meaningful discussions and showcase their work within local communities. We organize one live session every 2 weeks discussing a particular set of SDGs. Today's discussion is focused on SDG 5, Youth Against Gender Based Violence. Globally, 243 million women and girls were abused in the past year. Meanwhile, less than 40% of the women Meanwhile, less than 40% of women who experience violence report it or seek help. During the pandemic, the situation worsened, with majority of families forced to stay put at home. In April 2020, as the pandemic spread across the world, the UN Secretary General called for peace at home, and 146 member states responded with a strong statement of commitment. Here, we have a one small poll question for you that we would like all of you to answer. It will shortly pop up on your screens.
There's some error, so you go ahead. I'll put it on later.
Ketki, can you come again?
Yeah, you just go ahead. There's some sort of error, so I'll just fix it and then we'll put it on.
Sure, sure. Under the initiative of 16 days of activism starting from November 25th and ending yesterday, UN Women handed over the mic to survivors, activists, and UN partners on the ground to tell the story. In this session, we will hear voices of survivors and of men who are taking action to prevent violence against women. Uh, we'll just wait for a short poll question. And in the meantime, I would like to introduce you to our illustrious panel of experts. Bef- and before I introduce our two teams today, let me introduce you to our expert, Pile Sop. She is a board president of Women Against Violence Europe and a vice president of WAVE this year. In 2002, she co-founded Tartu Women's Shelter, the first domestic violence shelter in the Baltics. For the past 8 years, she has served as its executive director, working to rebrand the organization as the Women's Support and Information Center, a more internationally oriented organization that participates in policy analysis, advocacy, research, and education. We also have with us Mr. Ajit Singh, Director of Education and Training at Chauv Foundation, a world-renowned foundation working for the empowerment and rehabilitation of the acid attack survivors. Mr. Singh is engaged with managing the employment and trainings of the beneficiaries at the organization. Also, we would extend a warm welcome to Anshu Rajput and Pramodini Raul, acid attack survivors with Chow Foundation, to share their voices with us. They are currently working as Reach Out Associates and Stop Acid Attack campaigners. Both are motivational speakers as well, and we are honored to have them with us today. At this Y4SD session, we have two teams presenting their work: Youth Against Gender Based Violence, First Women Conference on Ending Gender Based Violence, and Youth Hub Nepal. And the presenter going to be Kaustav Mani Pokhrel. And we have the second project, Ashai, from the Connecting Dreams Foundation chapter at the College of Vocational Studies. And the presenters would be Yukta Nagpal and Priyanshi Agarwal. During these presentations, if any one of you has any questions, please post them on our Facebook Live, and the people who are connecting on Zoom, please put it in our chat. We would love to take up your questions and put it to our wonderful teams to answer them and engage in a very thoughtful discussion. I would also like to remind everyone that we will be opening a quiz on SDG 5 later in the session, which will test our knowledge of each SDG 5 and the projects we'll hear about today. The top scorers will get a certificate signed from our partners. And so I would here take the opportunity to tell you about the winners from the last quiz of SDG 4. Neeral Senapati, Aurel Tongia, Mariam Hayan, Ray Mavanza, Sonali Gupta, Anju Seth. A warm congratulations to all of them. Um, can we put the poll question now, Ketki? Is it possible?
Yes, we'll just be doing it.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is live.
Can everyone take 10 seconds to please answer this question? I think there are few attendees who are yet to answer. Thank you so much for your participation. We would be ending the poll and sharing the results with everyone. So yes, 33% of our respondents have witnessed a incident of domestic violence and 67% haven't. So let us all sensitize ourselves to the current problem in the world and taking that cue. Uh, I would like to I would like to request Kostif to take the floor and talk about his project First Women Conference on Ending Gender-Based Violence and Youth Hub Nepal from Masterpiece Nepal with us. Kostif, you can go ahead now.
Hello, check. Am I being heard?
Yes, you're audible.
The network I mean, this part of the world it's not always reliable, but I tried my best. Other devices are not connected, and I hope it goes smoothly.
Kostif, yeah, we just lost you there for 5 seconds.
Okay. Thank you to the organizers. Thank you to Connecting Dreams and all the other organizers who've put together this amazing platform where we get to share work from young people. It's so good to see young people from all around the globe coming together this way. So yeah, it's good to be here, and I will stick to my 10 minutes. Let me just set my timer, and then I can start. Let me also share my presentation with you. Can you see is it in share? Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can share your screen. Yeah, we can see your screen. It would be great if you could put it in the present mode. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. I will start with a brief introduction of Masterpiece. Hello and namaste everyone. My name is Kaustup Pokhrel, and I'm a Masterpiecer, if I may say so. Masterpiece is a global network. It's spread across 40 or more countries, and we have over 55 clubs who are together. But all these clubs in different countries, they follow the rules and regulations in the country that they are based on. So you may say that we're independent organizations who work for development, but we are under the umbrella of Masterpiece, and promoting peace and harmony is our common agenda. But all the clubs, all the organizations, they have their own expertise, and their SDGs or their targets could be different. But we are under the umbrella of Masterpiece. And I represent Masterpiece Hamid Dazubhai in Nepal. Hamid Dazubhai is a feminist organization. We registered ourselves last year in April. And since then, we've been working towards our we have many agendas, but our three main agendas, if I may call them, are two. One is we promote gender equality, that is there. The second is we really want to ensure boys and men participation, because we at Hamid Dazubhai believe that it's very important for the male members in the society to participate if we are to mitigate discrimination, and if we are to mitigate gender-based violence. It's not just the females' responsibility or roles. So we believe that it is very, very important to engage men and boys, especially, to end gender-based violence. And then the third is ratio. If we see the ratio, yes, it's the females who are mostly who have to face violence, but very small ratio of boys or men also do face violence. So we also raise awareness and work on their behalf. So that is what Hamid Dazubhai does. I'll move on. Like I said, our main primary focus is Sustainable Development 5, which is to end all forms of gender-based violence and inequalities. But other SDGs like decent work, ending injustice, ending inequalities, these issues, these SDGs would come as cross-cuttings to our areas. But our primary focus is on gender equality, which is SDG 5. Okay. I'm seeing these, okay. I see people coming in, so I couldn't actually see my own screen. Just go back. Okay. I would want to explain in today's session, I want to talk about a concept that we developed, which we called Women Club. Women as in we, as in us, we, together we stand, we, men as in boys. So when put together, it sounds like women. We wanted it to be that way. So the concept actually started when we started the concept of Hamid Dazubhai. And we wanted to bring in young boys and men and then train them and then make them aware on gender issues so that they can work together. So that is how the concept evolved. Formation of clubs, when we started, we knew that it was very difficult to get a big start. So we are based in Nepal, in Kathmandu, in Lalitpur district. So we started within our districts. What we did was we got in touch with the municipality, and then we also got in touch with the schools, high schools, so that we could form clubs and then get these young people to work, get these young people aware, and then they would then again spread awareness in the society. The reason we chose colleges is because then we don't need to set up our own organizations, because that takes in a lot of your funding money if you are to set up a club, find a space for them to meet. So we chose colleges so that the already existing college facilities could be used to bring these college students, school going students together. So, that was the idea during formation of the clubs. And each club would have 7 to 10 members when we started. And then within that 7 to 10 members, there would be 3 key members in the club, which is one of them would be the club leader, the other one would be, check, am I being heard?
Yes,
Hello?
Kaustubh. Yes.
Yes.
Can you all hear me?
Yes.
It says unstable connection. Yeah. So I was telling you about the club members. Within the club members, there are 3 people who are key. One is the club leader. The other one is the empowerment in charge. The other one is the media in charge. Club leader is the face of the club, who is the spokesperson, who is the advocate, and the empowerment in charge is the one who organizes event, who talks to different possible donors, who coordinates with us. And the media in charge is the person who would post in social media, who would talk to media when required, who would, liaise with the media. So every club would have 3 of these people with them. So initially, before we started, we brought in experts from different backgrounds, but who were experts on gender, who were experts on feminism, pro-feminism movement, men engagement. So all these clubs were brought together. There were 15 clubs starting. So all these clubs were brought together, and then they were oriented. And then after the orientation, then they went back to their respective colleges, to their respective education institutes, where they then started the discussion. Then they started the dialogue within their fellow students, within other members. So that is how we started when we initially started Women's Club. They also started raising awareness on very simple issues like providing free sanitary pads for the female students. If a female student could not attend classes because of her periods, she should not be counted as absent. That would somehow be compensated. So, small issues like these, because initially we did not have big agendas to work for. But later, yeah, there were bigger agendas to be addressed. But initially, and then, yes, of course, Hamida Zubai was there to help the clubs organize different events, like we organize during March 8th. It's the International Women's Day, but all the men, they have this rally organized in different parts of Nepal to show solidarity for women, that we are there as your ally. So, those kind of events were organized. I'm trying to go fast because we crossed the 9 minutes mark. These are few pictures during few of our events. Yeah, positive role models, males. That was the International Men's Day. Also, the orange ribbon. Yeah. Okay, way forward. At this juncture, we still have a long way to go because we just started. It's been taken very positively. For now, during one of the events, during discussion, something came up where the members said that it would be good to have female members also within the club, because it was very important to have a female perspective, because only males discussing different issues and saying that we should be allies of female and we should be supportive, and we're always against any form of violence. That was there, but then what actually they as individuals or as women group members could do. So for that, they needed the female perspective. So now, in the next AGM, if I may call that the AGM, we would have female members participating in the women's club. We really want to scale this was so appreciated, and even the municipality, they're talking to other higher government line agencies so that they can replicate this further. And like I said, we have tried to optimize the funds that are available and start small, but then create a very big impact. We wanted to partner with government line agencies mainly because of sustainability reasons. Usually when there are projects funded by organization, it only lasts until the funds are there. So if we can bring in the government to buy in the idea, then it will be there no matter what. No matter if there's no funding, it will always be there. But I'm not saying funds are not important. It is important. And we will be tying up with other donor agencies. But we really wanted the government to buy in the idea of Women's Club. And the other important thing that we felt as an organization is sensitizing the media is very, very important. Every day we come across so many different advertisements where the media does not seem to be very gender sensitive. Why is there always a male who is taking decisions in the family or in a community? We need more. We need to see female members coming out, females being the head of the family. These kind of. So for that, we really need the support from the media because media is strong. It reaches out to so many people. So we really want to tie up with different media and then sensitize and bring them out the issue. So yeah, that brings the end to my short introduction. If there are any questions, but only within, because I know there's so much to be talked about. If something is not understood within the presentation, and because I tried to go fast, maybe I missed out something. So if there's anything just related to what I just presented, I could take it. Otherwise, I can close.
Thank you, Kaustav, for that wonderful presentation. There's one quick question from our audience. The question is regarding sensitizing actually the members of women. So patriarchy is so rooted in our society that it has become part of our subconscious. So how do you sensitize the people who are coming in? They may come with a good cause, but patriarchy is so rooted in them that they may not even see that there is some discrimination going on. So how do you sensitize the people who are joining your organization and the clubs?
Like I said, we knew right from the start that it was very important to involve young men and boys. Young men, I say, because they still have a young mindset. There's still so much that they can, acquire as their knowledge. For somebody who's already, older, if I may say so, may not take these ideas as easily as the young people do. In our part of the world, especially, I know it's all around the world, but our part of the world, especially, we have a very patriarchy society, like you already mentioned. So, females and people from the gender minorities, it's also harmful for you because we mostly give out this example. One of our Hamid Dajubhai members, he lost his father when he was pretty young. He was 13, I think. He was 13, and he had two elder sisters who were 21 and 19. And then relatives would come in and say, now that you've lost your father, it's going to be difficult, but you are supposed to take care of mother and your sister. He is a guy who is only 13. One of the eldest sisters, she also had a job. So, even men, it's okay to cry. Okay, you're not supposed to cry because you're supposed to be a breadwinner because you are a male. These kind of patriarchic belief is also harmful to males. And it's important to understand that on a longer run, this will, be unbeneficial, harmful for not just the females. So you need to understand your privileges, and then and then be allies to females. If
Thank
that
you.
answers.
Thank you so much, Kaustubh, for that. I would move on to our next presentation. We will take more questions in the Q&A round. But for now, I would like to invite Yukta and Priyanshi of Project Ashai from Connecting Dreams Foundation chapter to talk about their work.
Thank you. Let me share my screen. Is it visible?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Priyanshi.
So, warm regards from Connected Dreams Foundation, Chapter College of Vocational Studies. I, Priyanshi Agarwal, Secretary of Connecting Dreams Foundation, Chapter College of Vocational Studies, is here to present a project on acid attack survivors in India with Yukta Nagpal, who is the President of Connecting Dreams Foundation, Chapter CVS. So, let's begin with our presentation. Our project title is Asha with a tagline Acid on Face, Not on Dreams. First of all, I would like to give a small introduction on the background of our project. India has the highest number of acid attacks in the world, but the worst conviction rates. About 300 cases per year are reported in India. As is often the case with other crime against women, acid attacks are treated with official apathy and societal indifference. The attack often occurs as revenge for rejecting a marriage proposal or sexual advances, showing the peculiar mindset of male entitlement and power, and no right for women to refuse. On the basis of this situation and looking at the alarming figures, CDF CVS decided to launch Project Ashay with a tagline Acid on Face, Not on Dreams. Ashay tries to bring a change in the lives of our victims by encouraging them to explore their interests and enhance their soft skills in their preferred field. We introduce them to the experts of that domain through collaborations and provide with them the platform where they can conduct their business activities and earn a decent living. To initiate this project, we begin with the field visits. CDF team visited a few of the survivor houses with the help of Charm Foundation and had real conversation about their conditions, problems, and life. The team noticed that despite a permanent disability, they had a positive outlook. Lack of income generating opportunities, they needed financial assistance to start any work and save money for family. Uh, During one of our visits, we meet Ritu Saini, born and brought up in Haryana. At a young age, she struggled with an acid attack. She told us in the interview that she was attacked by her own cousin. He threw acid on her face because she rejected his proposal. The brutal attack caused her immense physical and mental trauma and lost one of her eyes. Just like Ritu, there are a lot of survivors of different age groups who are conquered immense pain. These are the aspirations of the survivors. After interacting with them, we decided to give training on basic dance skills, communication skills, social media handles, and makeup artistry. Our collaborations. Our first collaboration was with Chav Foundation, based in Noida, Uttar Pradesh. Through this collaboration, we met around 20 acid attack survivors when provided them with the different interest online sessions. Our latest collaboration is with Atijeevan Foundation. Atijeevan stands for survival. We collaborated with this foundation during the lockdown period and connecting the survivors through online media. Over to you, Yukta.
So after interacting with the survivors and by getting to know about their aspirations, we came up with some solutions. So working with Cha Foundation, we have collaborated with Chef Anish Deshmukh and Chef Harpal Singh Soki, and we provided the session to acid attack survivors on how to start a YouTube channel. And as the session ended, we as a team tried to make them learn about the video editing skills. So, video editing skills were provided by our former president Garima during her tenure period. And as we came to know that number of acid attack survivors of Charm Foundation wanted to learn about social media working, So we told them about the social media working from basic to advanced. We have also collaborated with Glam Factory by Komal Soni. She provided the session to acid attack survivors through an online medium, that is Google Meet. And one of the acid attack survivors, as I remember, was Bimla Rotela, who was much interested in this session as compared to other acid attack survivors. For the fun activity, and as there are a number of acid attack survivors who want to learn basic dance skills, so we have collaborated with Kanchi R. Gupta. She is an instructor at KYT Academy. Pramodini Rolt enjoyed the most. Our recent collaboration is with Atijeevan Foundation. By interacting with them, we came to know that the major problem they are facing is related to communication skills. So to solve this problem, we collaborated with one of the DU professor, Dr. Swati Chandra, who is a... Next slide, please. Okay, in COVID-19 crisis, we have also arranged one of the quarantine talent show where we have 5 different categories that are dance, singing, acting, art, and painting. SDG covered under our project Ashaएं are SDG 3, good health and well-being, SDG 5, gender equality, SDG 8, decent work and economic growth, SDG 10, reduced inequalities, SDG 16, peace, justice, and strong institution. As a team, we have also decided to reach out to as many women as possible who are the victims of acid attack survivors and who are also facing the issue of domestic violence. We will provide them with the same opportunity that is earned with the talent. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Brinda, you are on mute.
Sorry.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Thank you so much, Yukta and Priyanshi, for such wonderful presentation. And we have some special guests from Chow Foundation to the center. I will be now switching to Hindi for Pramodni ji and Anshu. And I will later translate the gist of their answers in English for our international audiences. नमस्ते प्रमोदनी जी, थैंक यू सो मच, आपने हमें यहाँ पर ज्वाइन किया है.
नमस्ते.
नमस्ते. आपसे कुछ एक दो सवाल पूछेंगे. तो मेरा जो पहला सवाल है आपसे वो ये है कि आपको क्यों लगता है कि लोग ऐसे कदम उठाते हैं कि एसिड फेंक देते हैं औरतों पे? इसका क्या रीजन है, ऐसा क्यों होता है?
फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल थैंक यू सो मच फॉर एवरीवन एंड गिविंग मी अपॉर्चुनिटी एंड आप सबके सामने बोलने का जो मौका मिला है, इसलिए सबको मेरा अगेन थैंक यू. एंड आपने जो क्वेश्चन किया उसका डिफरेंट कारण होते हैं. फर्स्ट कारण, कल ह्यूमैनिटीज डे था, तो उसमें मैं जब बात कर रही थी, मेरे दिमाग में जब आया था, हम लोग कुछ बात कर रहे थे, यू नो, जब एसिड फेंकने तक तो बहुत सारे लंबे राह हो जाते हैं, लेकिन एसिड जब शुरू होता है जहाँ से, जैसे फैक्ट्री में बनती है, तब से डिसाइड हो जाता है कि ये लड़कियों के ऊपर ही इस्तेमाल होगा. तो उसका शुरुआत वही से होता है, और ताकि लोग उसका गलत इस्तेमाल करते हैं. जैसे यू नो, लैट्रिन टॉयलेट क्लीनर के लिए लोग, जो हम लोगों के मार्केट में प्रोडक्ट बिक्री होती है, वो बहुत ज्यादा हाई प्राइस होता है, लाइक हार्पिक, बाथरूम क्लीनर. लेकिन एसिड एक नॉर्मल 20 रुपए में मतलब कोल्ड ड्रिंक जैसा रेट होता है उसमें मिल जाता है, और लोग उसको अपनी गुस्से से उसको गलत इस्तेमाल कर रहे हैं क्योंकि वो बहुत ही हार्मफुल होता है। और जब उन मानसिक लोगों को जब रिजेक्शन मिलता है कोई भी चीज से, तो उनके मन को हर्ट होता है, ईगो हर्ट होता है, तो रिवेंज लेने के लिए वो सोचते हैं कि उनकी चेहरा जला देंगे। और एक दूसरा कारण है कि सोसाइटी ने ब्यूटी को इतना इम्पोर्टेंट दे के रखा है। इतना हंसी आएगी अगर मैं बताऊंगी कि ऑल वर्ल्ड में इतने सारे ब्यूटी प्रोडक्ट्स कंपनी खुल गई, इसलिए कोई अच्छी चीज नहीं खुला है, ब्यूटी प्रोडक्ट्स कंपनी इसलिए खुल गई है। यार सोसाइटी ने माँ की कोख से तो महिला को बोझ मानते हैं, जो महिला पैदा होता है उसकी ब्यूटी को सबके सामने इम्पोर्टेंट दिया जाता है। और सही मायने में आज के सिचुएशन में लड़के अपने चेहरे को बहुत ज्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट देते और बाकी चीज को ज्यादा छोड़ देते। तो वही वो क्रिमिनल को लगता है कि अगर मैं चेहरा जला दूंगी तो जीने के लिए वो लायक नहीं रहेगा और सोसाइटी उसको रिजेक्ट कर देगा। ये होता है जब क्रिमिनल हमारे पास एसिड अटैक करता है, जैसे मेरे पास एसिड अटैक किया, वो 1 महीने के अंदर उसने शादी कर लिया। मेरी सोसाइटी ने मुझे रिजेक्ट कर दिया इजीली। पेरेंट बोल दिया कि इसने कुछ किया होगा, इसके साथ ऐसा हुआ है। कोई बोल दिया कि उससे शादी कौन करेगा। मतलब तब कोई सोचता नहीं है, हमें जीना है, हमें उस दर्द से बाहर आना है। हमें दर्द होता है, कितना तकलीफ होता है उस टाइम, कोई भी ये नहीं सोचता कि एक बूंदा गर्म पानी जब पड़ जाता है कितना पेन होता है। और उसके चेहरे को किसी ने तेजाब से नहलाया है, तो उसकी सोसाइटी उसको एक्सेप्ट कर लिया, उसकी माँ ने, उसकी बहन ने, उसके साथ जिसने शादी कर ली। तो बहुत सारी चीजें हैं हमारी सोसाइटी में, और इक्वालिटी नहीं है। इक्वालिटी की अगर लेवल हम देखें हमारे इंडिया में तो एकदम 0 लेवल पे है। तो बहुत सारी चीजों के कारण उन लोग वो जान से मारने के लिए तो नहीं करते ना, तो उनको लगता है कि हम 4 दीवार के अंदर सड़ेंगे। लेकिन आज हम लोगों ने उसका अपोजिट प्रूव किया है कि वो 4 दीवार के अंदर सड़ रहे हैं, लेकिन सोसाइटी वहीं पे है।
थैंक यू, थैंक यू। मैं इसको 2 मिनट ट्रांसलेट कर देती हूँ एंड देन मैं आपसे दूसरा सवाल पूछूंगी।
यस ऑफ कोर्स, यस।
So I will quickly translate for everyone what Pramodni ji was saying. So I asked her that why do you think such a problem exists in the first place? So there were 3 points that she highlighted. The first point is that instead of looking at when the acid is thrown, one should first look at where the acid is made, and it is made with the sole purpose of actually throwing it on women. Because if you look at acids which are used in toilets to clean toilets or other things in the household, they're quite expensive. But when you look at the acid that is thrown at women, it is quite cheap and readily available. So that is a huge problem. Secondly, she highlighted that the importance that beauty is given in the society. So the men think that if they can disfigure the face of the women, then she will be ruined for life. And she said that the guy who threw acid on her face, he married within 1 month. So he was accepted by the society very quickly where he got married, but her being was ruined for the entire life. Like there was a woman who was willing to get married to him even after he had committed such a horrendous crime. So there, the problem of equality, the importance of beauty that is given in the society by the women, is something that she's brought out in this answer. I hope I did justice to what she said. तो प्रमोदनी जी, जो मेरा दूसरा सवाल है वो ये है कि जो हम आजकल की जो हमारी युवा पीढ़ी है, वो ऐसे कौन से कदम उठा सकती है जिससे जो लोगों का ये सोचने का तरीका है जिसके बारे में आपने बताया है उसको हम बदल पाएं, और क्या युवा पीढ़ी कुछ कर भी सकती है इस बारे में?
यस ऑफ कोर्स, क्योंकि रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी सबके ज्यादा सोसाइटी की होता है। उस सोसाइटी में वो दोस्त आते हैं, हमारे भाई बहन आते हैं, हमारी नेबल के पड़ोस के लोग भी आते हैं, वो भी यंग जनरेशन के आधे लोग होते हैं, और सबसे ज्यादा उनका ही साथ छूट जाता है। क्योंकि एसिड एक ऐसी हार्मफुल केमिकल होता है, वो सिर्फ चेहरा नहीं जलाते, डिफरेंस पास्ट डैमेज कर देता है। सबको पता है इसकी दर्द कितना दर्दनाक है, इसकी ट्रीटमेंट कितना लंबा है और कितनी जरूरत है। सिर्फ मेंटली फिजिकल पेन जरूरी जितना नहीं होता है, उसके साथ मेंटली सपोर्ट भी ज्यादा चाहिए। लेकिन जिस टाइम में हम लोगों को फ्रेंड्स लोगों की, रिलेटिव्स की, सोसाइटी की एंड हमने अपने करीब लोगों की सबसे ज्यादा जरूरत मोस्टली फ्रेंड थी। अगर मैं एक लाइन में बोलूंगी अगर हम अपनी दिल की हर बात अपने दोस्तों के साथ शेयर करते, माँ बाप के साथ नहीं शेयर करते, लेकिन एक अच्छा दोस्त आज के यंग जनरेशन में सबसे अच्छा नेचर होना चाहिए कि सबके एक अच्छी दोस्त बनना चाहिए। एक दोस्त चाहे तो वहां से उसको वहां तक पहुंचा सकता है, अगर एक दोस्त चाहे तो उसको वहां से वहां तक बिगड़ा सकता है। और जिस मोमेंट पे हम लोगों को हमारे दोस्त की जरूरत होती है उस टाइम दोस्त साथ हो देते हैं। जैसे क्राइम हम लोगों ने किया है, विचार मतलब आकर इतना विक्टिमाइज की तरह देखते हैं और एकदम विचार की तरह आवाज होते हैं। मुझे लगता है हम लोग विचारे नहीं वो लोग विचारे हैं। जैसे हम लोगों को जिस तरह से वो ट्रीट करते हैं, ये सोसाइटी की सबसे बड़ी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी होना चाहिए। और सक्सेसफुल एक चीज है जो हर कोई पाना चाहता है, ये आज के यंग जनरेशन के अंदर है। एंड उसको कोई गलत रास्ता मत चुनो। कोई प्यार में ना सक्सेस हुआ तो उसके लिए मैं कुछ भी कर दूंगी उसके साथ। भाई अपने स्वार्थ के लिए किसी की अपनी सक्सेस की स्वार्थ के लिए आप किसी को नुकसान मत पहुंचा। पॉजिटिव वे से चलो, सबके अच्छा है देखो, बस अच्छे काम से सब कुछ अच्छा मिलता है। और जब भी कोई असुविधा से पड़ता है, अगर ऐसा कुछ कांड होता है जहाँ पे आपके आंखों के सामने, प्लीज उसको तुरंत से सपोर्ट करना शुरू कर दीजिए। एंड आपको कोई नहीं बोल रहा है कि आपको कोई मनी सपोर्ट करने के लिए, ऐसा कुछ बड़ा सपोर्ट कोई नहीं बोल रहा है। एक कदम अच्छे से साथ दो, एक कदम मीठी लाइन बोलो, क्योंकि बहुत सारे लोग आते हैं फर्जी में, उनका आप अगर कुछ आप बुलाओगे नहीं, वो फर्जी में आकर बहुत सारे भाषण दे के चले जाते हैं घर में आकर। अरे मतलब ये क्या हो गया, मतलब बहुत सारी बातें बोल जाते हैं जो बातें एकदम विक्टिमाइज बना देते हैं एक सर्वाइवर्स को। तो ऐसे बातें बोलो, एक लाइन बोलो कि उसकी हिम्मत, उसकी कॉन्फिडेंस लेवल 100 गुना बढ़ जाए। हमेशा लोग हमें पूछते हैं कि आपके अंदर कॉन्फिडेंस लेवल कहाँ आता है। आपके अंदर है, उसको थोड़ा सा स्कोप मिलना चाहिए। अगर ऐसा नहीं बोल सकते प्लीज अपने मुंह बंद करके घर में बैठे रहो, क्योंकि किसी को विक्टिमाइज बनाने के लिए आपको कोई हाथ नहीं दिया है। तो यंग आज के जनरेशन की वही रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी। एंड आज के जो मतलब स्मार्ट मतलब जो दुनिया चल रहा है, पैसों से ज्यादा टाइम प्रीशियस होता है। हमारे समाज में बहुत सारे सोशल कॉज के लिए लोग काम करते हैं। अगर आप अपना इम्पोर्टेंट वक्त निकाल के, कीमती वक्त निकाल के सोशल कॉज को थोड़ा सा सपोर्ट करेंगे तो सीरियसली सेल्फ सेटिस्फाइड बहुत मिलता है, बहुत ज्यादा मिलता है। और वही रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी बहुत है। अगर पॉजिटिव वे से देखेंगे तो बहुत कुछ आपको करने का मौका मिलेगा।
थैंक यू प्रमोदनी जी। मैं क्विकली इसको ट्रांसलेट कर देती हूँ। I asked Pramodni ji that how as a society what we can do to change the mindset of the people or be supportive of women who go through such a tragedy. And she said something very simple, where she said that when acid is thrown, it is so painful, like one cannot even imagine the pain, the physical and the mental pain one goes through. And at that time, more than family, you need some great friends, because you may not be able to discuss everything with your parents or your brothers or sisters, but it's your friends that you need the most. So you need to surround yourself with people who don't make you a victim but help you to increase your confidence level. And she's saying that if you can't say something good to us, then at least like don't say anything, like keep your mouth shut, because we don't want to be victimized. It is to increase confidence levels. And I think in a very small thing, she also mentioned that like a lot of times why men do this is because they think that their love is not accomplished, and they take this drastic step to throw acid on a woman's face as because of revenge. And her point is that maybe if the people surrounding him can stop him to do something like that, anything that can reduce this atrocity. So yeah, I also have Anshu ji with us in the house. Anshu ji, आपसे भी एक दो सवाल हैं। आप अगर आप अपने आप को अनम्यूट कर लें।
यस आवाज आ रही है मेरी?
हाँ जी, हाँ जी। तो मेरा पहला सवाल आपसे ये है कि आप छाव फाउंडेशन के साथ क्या काम कर रहे हैं टू वर्क विद जो एसिड अटैक सर्वाइवर्स हैं, उनके साथ काम करना या इस इशू पे काम करने में आपका क्या रोल है छाव फाउंडेशन के साथ, और आप इसको कैसे एड्रेस कर रहे हैं?
सबसे पहले गुड इवनिंग एवरीवन एंड थैंक यू सो मच आप सभी का कि आप सबने मुझे ये मौका दिया कि मैं अपने और अपने छाव फाउंडेशन को यहाँ पे प्रेजेंट कर सकूं। जैसे कि आपने पूछा कि मैं क्या करती हूँ और मैं 2014 से 2015 से मैं छाव फाउंडेशन के साथ जुड़ी हुई हूँ और मैं रिच आउट में काम करती हूँ और रिच आउट डिपार्टमेंट का काम ये रहता है कि जहाँ कहीं भी एक्सीडेंट अटैक होता है तो वहाँ सर्वाइवर के घर घर पहुँचना, क्योंकि मोस्टली अटैक गांव में होते हैं और गांव में जो है वहाँ पे सुविधाएं नहीं होती हैं, हॉस्पिटल्स नहीं होते हैं, लड़की को सपोर्ट नहीं मिलता है। तो हमारी रीच आउट टीम उसके घर जाकर उसकी काउंसलिंग करती है, उसकी एडवोकेसी पे काम करती है, उसको मतलब लखनऊ में लेके आती है या दिल्ली में हमारा रिहेबिलिटेशन सेंटर है वहाँ पे लेके उनका ट्रीटमेंट कराती है। फिर उनको कंपलसेशन मिला है नहीं मिला है उसके ऊपर काम करती है और उसके बाद उसकी एजुकेशन को लेके काम करती है, क्योंकि मोस्टली ये होता है कि जब लड़की बहुत ही कम एज की होती है 15 या 16 ईयर्स की होती है, उसी टाइम पे उसकी एज हो जाती है और सबसे ज्यादा इफेक्ट उसकी पढ़ाई पे पड़ता है कि जिस टाइम पे वो अपने सपनों की उड़ान भर रही होती है उस टाइम पे उसके मतलब उसके फेस पे तेजाब फेंक दिया जाता है, तो उसके अकॉर्डिंग उसके स्कूल से भी नाम काट दिया जाता है। तो जैसे अजीत भाई यहाँ पे सुन रहे हैं, तो अजीत भाई हमारी एजुकेशन डिपार्टमेंट का भी काम देखते हैं। तो ऐसा ही है कि हमारी रीच आउट ये काम करती है और अभी फिलहाल में जैसे लॉकडाउन लगा था तो उस बीच में मतलब कि हमारा सिरोज जो है मतलब एक रेस्टोरेंट है जहाँ पे सारे सर्वाइवर्स इंडिपेंडेंट हैं और उस टाइम पे लॉकडाउन में सिरोज ने अर्निंग करना बंद कर दिया था, तो उसी अकॉर्डिंग मतलब कि हम सारे लोग डिप्रेशन में हो गए थे कि अब हम लोग क्या करेंगे कि बहुत सारे ऐसे सर्वाइवर्स हैं जो पूरी तरीके से सिरोज पे ही डिपेंड हैं। अगर सिरोज नहीं रहेगा तो वो जहाँ से वो निकल के आई थी, जहाँ से उन्होंने शुरुआत की थी, वो वहीं पे जा सकती हैं। तो फिर उसके अकॉर्डिंग हम लोगों ने अभी एक नया प्रोजेक्ट स्टार्ट किया है, एक गिफ्ट स्टोरी। तो मैं उस डिपार्टमेंट में अभी पीआर मैनेजर का रोल निभा रही हूँ।
Thank you, Anshuti. Just quickly translating what she said, I asked her what work is she doing with acid attack survivors, and she said that her work is mainly as a first responder, where she's working with Foundation from 2015. And the moment they hear a case, which mostly happens in villages, they are mostly working in the Uttar Pradesh area of India. They go to the location where the attack has happened, um, sensitize the family because sometimes they don't accept the girl who's gone through this, help them rehabilitate, bring them to their center in Delhi for any sort of surgery that is required, bring them compensation from the government if they've not received education. And also with the pandemic, given the restricted movements, they started a new initiative and now she's working at increasing that initiative and making sure that their efforts are still going on because a lot of women depend um, on the work of Chow Foundation. The acid attack victims depend on them. I'm sorry for using the word victims. Survivors depend on them, and yeah. So kudos. Thank you so much for such a wonderful work. And apologies for using the wrong word. And quickly moving on to Mr. Ajit. Ajit ji, I've been part of the Chow Foundation from a very young age. I would like to know what is it that the youth can bring to the table when it comes to changing the gender norms? Ajit ji, are you there with us from Chow Foundation?
Yeah, yeah. Am I audible, Vrinda?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, you are. Thank you.
Yeah, network is quite pathetic here, so I'm so sorry for being disconnected all the time. So thank you so much for giving us this opportunity to have such a kind big platform Y4SD. And thank you so much for other organization and participant listening to us, like what the acid attack and the this heinous things and the model we are having it like heroes hangout in a gift story. So thank you so much for hearing out us and yeah, Vrinda. So
So my quick
what
question
else
is,
we can share with you?
yes, my question is what do you think that youth can do in terms of, I would say, SDG 5, gender-based violence, how they can actually sensitize people around them, work with them. What is the role that the youth of this country or globally can play a role? Um, I'm so sorry. I think Ajit ji has frozen out. I will. We can get back to him later in the Q&A. I would like to bring in our
Minute.
expert here, Phyllis Sop from Women Supported Information Center. Ms. Sop, it would be great if you could share your views and experience on the issue that you heard today, and what are your thoughts about it?
Hello, just to check. I'm not here first, am I? Do I
Yes,
take
you're audible.
answer now? Good. We didn't do the test before it started. I'm sorry for that. Hello, and thank you for having me here. First place, it's really great honor and excellent initiatives you guys have done here. So I was, while listening, I was thinking that indubitably, both of your groups are inspirational. So in two very different areas, as you are working, you are changing the world. And I'm first saying just what were my thoughts when I was listening, and I was writing down. Just that's why I was like constantly doing something on screen. So yes, Project Ashai. It is very brave and amazing what you are doing. My first thoughts were, as Pramadini and Anshu said, that you guys are survivors, definitely like from beginning, not and should not be victims. In our support center, we also are calling our ladies who are coming. They are, for me, survivor is too slight word because surviving can be random, accidental. I survived tornado, but this is actual strong work what you're doing, and this is really like for me, I'm not as brave like as you guys are. So it is like heroes. We actually had in Women Against Violence Europe, we had comic series, heroes. So that's who you are. So doing your support work, doing the speaking out is very valid and very important because that actually is helping other survivors to start thinking differently and to see that there is a light in the end of tunnel, that life is not over, that these groups exist. That happens also with survivors of just domestic violence. Because as long as you are alone, you don't know that there are other people. It is not as easy to change anything. So that is extremely valid and that valuable, and that is something, if you can amplify these voices or if you get other girls, young women to speak or share stories, that is powerful, and that actually makes society to change eventually. Because what we don't want only that everybody finds the purpose in life after such a crazy like change of life, but we want that society is going to change, that this, as you described, that this sky was actually accepted, should, like, this is not happening, but society just pulls this guy and says, get lost. So I suggest you amplify, and yes, whatever trainings or whatever skills are possible to train, yeah, you do already. I just encourage to keep doing it and work further with it. So yeah, extremely inspirational. You'll most likely get a lot of backlash or like this maybe your communities or societies are not taking it easy, then just keep going, you know. And there are frustrations, but we are working for good cause. So thank you very much, and I hope, yes, I can. If there is anything, I can also talk to you separately or give something if I can. But very, very inspirational. Nepali men's group also. Hamidayawai is really nice, especially because we know that even if patriarchy is like stronger, so it's strong everywhere, in some countries it is harder to break or harder to do any breakthrough. So this initiative is very welcomed and very good. And when I was listening, what I was thinking was that really smart that you started with colleges. Not only that they are for free, but generally speaking, there are people who come to study and who are more open-minded anyway. So, and when they start talking to their cousins and relatives, so the word gets further around. That's excellent. What I was thinking when I was listening to you was that you mentioned that you are working with media and you are looking how media is presenting either gender stereotypes or victimization or like, yes, how they show actually domestic violence. Then it is an issue everywhere around the world, and that is here is something that I maybe can just think to suggest what we are doing in our country. We have, and I don't know how or which media channels or social media channels you more are using. We are using Facebook, and we have one quite big group, public Facebook group, where there are ladies who are constantly posting sexist headlines or pictures, whatever media is issuing. And actually, we have done it like for 5 years, and media kind of is learning. It is slow process still, but they are hearing. They hear us, and they hear what we are criticizing. And sports competition organizers also have got their punishment via our group and have changed the way how awards are distributed between men competitors and female competitors. So maybe such similar way of tackling this, just to start like putting their noses into their piles. You are doing this. This is sexist. You are doing this. This is victim blaming. You are doing this. This is incorrect. So maybe that would help. But yes, getting connections to government is a key everywhere. And when you show the benefit what they are getting, you always like try to find not what I want from you, but what you gain when I'm providing it. So when you go to governments, just show them what they benefit, what they gain from this. Very inspiring what both of you are doing. Again, my heart goes with us, with you guys. So thank you. There was one question. Maybe I can I answer about this European legislation thing? Yeah, I hope. There was very beginning. There was question about if there is any domestic violence legislation, and yes, actually, Scotland, and I will post it into chat also just after. But in UK, Scotland, they basically have gold standard of domestic violence legislation. If we would be able to first issue such a bill and then start implementing such a bill, then it helps very much. So Scotland passed the bill in 2018 and started working 2019 based on that. And they already see difference it makes for survivors of domestic violence. So if I always advocate for, let's get the bill. Only like chapters in penal codes of local legislation does not work as effectively, but it is long and hard work. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ms. Sof. I have we have a couple of audience questions for the teams. So I'll quickly, first one is for CDF CVS, Project Ashai. What inspired you to work with acid attack survivors? Like, what was the genesis of the whole idea?
Okay, so we really want to work for the acid attack survivors. It was not that we have planned something or something like that. We need to find a community according to Connecting Dreams Foundation working. So suddenly idea came into our mind that why not to work for acid attack survivors, as there are number of acid attack survivors in our pan India. So we came to know about them, then we have connected to Cha Foundation, then we have interacted with them, and then we actually came to know that there are some people having faced lots of difficulty in their life, and they have still a bright smile on their face, and that smile can make anyone smile, that one having a bad day or something like that. So time and again we interacted, and then it was like a connection to them. Okay, the two are here, Pramodini and Anshu, and they are like quite cheerful person. The talking to them is like a heartfelt emotion, you can say. So we suddenly came to working with them, and this is just going on, and we hope we can impact as many as like possible. It's a very great feeling.
Thank you. We have a question from our expert. How do you get donors for your work? Like, what sort of funding routes are you taking right now?
Okay, so we are do having sponsorship by doing some sponsorship tasks, and other than that, we are actually like collaborating with the people who can provide the courses in free. We are just providing them with the social media marketing.
Okay, so it's more like a barter system, one can say.
Yes.
And Kaustuv, a question for you. Why did you think that it's very essential to target men and boys to bring about change? I know you've talked about it in your presentation, but I think people would like to know more about your inspiration.
Yeah, like you said, it's two sides of the coin. If there is a perpetrator, there will be a victim. So and data shows that it's usually the men who are the perpetrators. Being honest, it's the men. So they need to be sensitized. Unless they are sensitized, if you are only working with somebody who's prone to be a victim of violence, that approach probably would not work. That is what we believe. And with that, I'll also answer, there was this other question where it's a very unconventional approach. It's not a conventional approach. Somebody asked here somewhere. I would just want to share that initially when there's this case of a male being raped, and the person goes to police and says that I was raped and I want to file a report, the police people laugh, because the concept of violence and how it happens, people do not, because it's not taught in schools. Gender people coming from gender minorities are coming out, but it's been over a decade, but still people are like, oh, what is a bisexual? It's so important to teach these things while you are in school, because then you have a curriculum. Maybe parents would still not be the best choice. So our approach was unconventional. One incident was 2 years ago. I think it was back in 2017. We had not started the organization officially, and we were celebrating Men's Day. So there was this men's march, and then people were, what? Men's Day? What is a Men's Day? So the concept of men coming together and helping out women, being allies for women, the concept in itself is still, people have to internalize that the concept itself is very new and not readily accepted. So we believe that this has to be hammered and hammered, like, because behavior change does not happen overnight. It's going to take time, but we need to keep trying, and we need to keep going, so that then there would be no more acid attacks. So you would be working with some other agenda and not, the acid attack warriors. Yeah.
Very poignant point. Thank you everyone for joining us on our last session of this year, but we are going to be back in January. So first of all, I want to wish everyone a great Happy New Year and a Merry Christmas. I would like to end this with a fun thing to talk about. We have a photography competition coming up in January. And okay, so just give me a second. I'm just collecting my thoughts here. Okay, so the theme of this competition is that you have to submit us 3 photographs to tell the story of the change you brought in. We want your photos and not just any photo, something that you have clicked or your team has done to bring a change in the community. And please don't bring any photoshopped Instagram photos. We want authenticity, and any top 5 photos that will be selected through public votes will receive a masterclass in photography. The masterclass is from a surprise person, from a surprise guest, and we will reveal that soon. But yes, we are looking forward to some fun, honest, inspiring photographs coming. Simi, could you tell us that how people can submit these photographs to us? Hello? Um, I I think Simi has left right now. She's not. What we'll do is this is a competition, and we'll put out all the details on our on Connecting Dreams Foundation's all the social media handles, and you will get all the information from there. And we are looking forward to some great photography coming our way and a wonderful competition. And see you next year in January with a new session, with a new dialogue. And Happy New Year to everyone. It was lovely. It was a great discussion. Thank you.